Welcome to my YouTube channel, where we explore the valuable lessons of Stoicism to help us live a more meaningful and purposeful life. Today, we will start with a simple yet profound question. Does your life have meaning? Can you find happiness in your current life? In a world filled with the noise of electronic devices, the overwhelming information on social media, stressful jobs and complicated relationships, we sometimes feel like we are being swept away in a never-ending vortex. This makes it difficult for us to find peace of mind. But there is an ancient philosophy, Stoicism, that can help us re-examine our lives, guiding us toward a life of calm, purpose, and not being swept away by emotions and events around us. Marcus Aurelius and the Power of Thought. One of the great philosophers of Stoicism was Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor who faced countless challenges throughout his life, but remained calm and rational in all situations. In his writings, which came to be known as meditations, he shared his profound thoughts on how to live a meaningful, resilient, and happy life. One of his famous quotes is, "Your happiness depends on the quality of your thoughts." This is one of the most important lessons we can learn from Stoicism. Marcus Aurelius is not talking about whether life will be easy or not, but he emphasizes that true happiness does not come from what happens to us, but from how we think and react to what happens. In modern life, it is easy for us to get caught up in negative emotions and thoughts. When faced with a problem, an incident, or a person who displeases us, we often react unconsciously, letting our emotions dictate our actions and thoughts. However, the Stoic philosophy teaches us to control our thoughts and reactions to events instead of letting our emotions dictate our actions. One way to practice this is to examine your thoughts whenever you encounter a stressful situation. Try asking yourself, is this really worth my anger? Can I look at this from a different perspective? A more constructive perspective? That is how Stoicism helps us transform anxiety and stress into positive thoughts, thereby improving the quality of life. Resilience and acceptance of difficulties. Life is not always easy. Certainly, each of us will have to face difficulties, challenges, and failures. However, Stoicism does not teach us to avoid challenges, but teaches us how to face and overcome them with a calm and resilient attitude. One of the important qualities that Stoicism emphasizes is resilience. In life, you cannot control all the events that happen around you, but you can control how you react to them. Resilience does not mean that you do not feel pain or disappointment, but that you have the ability to overcome those negative emotions and move forward. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "We cannot control the wind, but we can adjust the sails." This means that no matter how difficult the situation is, we can control how we react. Facing difficulties and not giving up is one of the most important qualities of Stoicism. Every challenge brings opportunities for personal growth, and when you face them with calmness and resilience, you become stronger. Imagine your day is filled with countless difficulties, from things that don't go well at work to problems in your personal life. You feel pressured and may want to give up, but if you apply Stoicism, you will find that instead of reacting negatively, you can accept reality as it is and act with intention. Accepting difficulties, facing them and finding solutions, is how Stoicism helps us maintain calmness in difficult times. Gratitude and appreciating the simple things. Another important lesson of Stoicism is gratitude. In the modern world, we are often caught up in the never-ending rush of things, and it is easy to forget the good things around us. We do not stop to appreciate simple pleasures like a delicious meal, a beautiful morning, or the people we love. Stoicism encourages us to take the time to appreciate and be grateful for the good things in life, whether they are small or large. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you arise in the morning, remember that your purpose is to live well, to help others, to work with integrity." Gratitude not only makes us happier, but it also helps us to see the true value of life. Practicing gratitude can help us cope with the difficulties in life. When you feel tired and stressed, instead of drowning in negative emotions, take a moment to think about the things you are grateful for. It could be your health, the people you love, the work you do, or simply your peace of mind. Gratitude not only makes us feel better, but it also helps improve our relationships and increase our connection with the people around us. When you appreciate the little things in life, you will find that life becomes more beautiful and fulfilling, creating a life of meaning and purpose. In life, we often feel vague and uncertain about what we are doing. As each day passes, You may feel like you are just existing without really living. The Stoic philosophy encourages us to find our purpose in life, which helps us maintain peace and joy in life. Purpose is not some grand, distant goal, but rather identifying the important values that you want to live by and acting on those values every day. Ikigai, a Japanese concept, is about finding the intersection between your passion, your talents, what the world needs, and what you can make money from. Finding your Ikigai is a great way to create a meaningful life. Work with passion, and feel less pressured. When you live with a clear purpose, every action you take has meaning. You don't work just because you have to, but because you know you're contributing to something bigger than yourself. Your life becomes fuller and more fulfilling when you live each day with a clear purpose. The Stoic philosophy is not just an ancient philosophy, but a meaningful guide to living in the modern world. When we learn to control our thoughts, develop resilience, practice gratitude, and live with purpose, life becomes more peaceful and fulfilling. Happiness is not something found outside of us, but rather the inner peace we create through our thoughts and actions. Gratitude, resilience, and service. Welcome back to part 2 of our journey exploring the philosophy of Stoicism and its application in modern life. In the previous part, we learned about the power of thought and how Stoicism helps us maintain calm and resilience in the midst of life's challenges. Today, we will continue to explore other important principles of Stoicism: gratitude, resilience, and service. In the modern world, it is easy to get caught up in the never-ending race, forgetting about the things that really matter in life. Gratitude helps us appreciate the little things, the relationships around us, and the challenges we face. Resilience and dedication are not only important qualities that help us overcome difficulties, but also factors that help create a meaningful life. Gratitude and how to practice it every day. Gratitude is one of the core values of Stoicism. In our busy and challenging lives, we often forget the small but precious things that life brings. We easily get caught up in big goals and forget that true happiness comes from appreciating the little things in life. Stoicism encourages us to take time each day to reflect and be thankful for the good things in life. A simple way to practice gratitude is to take a few minutes each morning or evening to list the things you are grateful for during the day. This can be something very small, like the warmth of a cup of coffee, or an intimate conversation with a friend, or simply the feeling of peace in knowing that you are still healthy. When we practice gratitude every day, it not only helps our mind become lighter but also helps strengthen our connection with the people around us. When you learn to appreciate the little things, you will easily realize that life is full of moments worth appreciating. You will be able to find joy in simple things, and this will help you maintain a positive attitude, even in the face of difficulties. Gratitude helps us accept life as it is and makes life more beautiful. Marcus Aurelius once wrote in his Meditations, "When you arise in the morning, remember that your purpose is to live well, to help others, to work with integrity." This quote reminds us that every day, whether difficult or easy, has its own value. Gratitude helps us realize that and appreciate every moment of life. Resilience in the face of difficulties. Resilience is one of the most important qualities emphasized by Stoicism. Life is not always easy, and we often encounter difficulties and challenges. But resilience is not about resisting or avoiding difficulties, but about facing and overcoming them calmly and strongly. The Stoic philosophy helps us understand that difficulties in life are an indispensable part of the process of growing up. They are not something we should avoid, but opportunities to learn, grow, and become stronger. In fact, these challenges are valuable lessons that help us understand ourselves better, about our ability to endure and overcome adversity. In difficult moments, one of the most important things is to accept the truth of the situation and then decide to act intentionally. Instead of complaining or blaming, Stoicism encourages us to face difficulties calmly, find specific solutions, and move forward. When we practice resilience, we not only overcome challenges but also find joy in the process. Life becomes more meaningful when you do not let yourself be swept away by negative emotions but instead, you take action, find the right direction, and keep moving forward. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Act as a calm and resilient person, working not for your own ego but for the common good." It is through practicing these lessons that we can not only overcome difficulties but also live a more meaningful life. The spirit of contribution and the role of each person in society. Another important principle of Stoicism is the spirit of dedication. While many people today only focus on enriching themselves, gaining fame or personal success, Stoicism teaches us that each person has an important role to play in the community and we should live in a way that can contribute to the common development of society. Contribution doesn't always have to be something big like building a company or working on a global project. Sometimes, it's just the small things you do in your daily life. It could be helping a friend, sharing your knowledge with others, or just living an honest and ethical life. In his writings, Marcus Aurelius always emphasized that each of us has a higher purpose in life. And that purpose is to serve the common good, no matter what job you do. From teachers, doctors, engineers to laborers, we can all contribute to society by doing our work with dedication and integrity. The spirit of dedication also helps us live with a clear purpose. When we live not only for ourselves but also for those around us, we will feel that this life is much more meaningful. Instead of just seeking personal joy, we will find joy in helping others, in contributing and creating value for the community. Face everyday challenges and contribute every day. One way to practice the spirit of contribution every day is to start small. You can start each day by setting a simple but meaningful goal, such as helping someone at work, sharing a good deed with a loved one, or simply doing something useful for the community. These small actions have great power in creating a better world. We don't have to wait for a big opportunity or a special event to contribute. Every day is an opportunity to live with purpose, to create value, and to contribute to the development of society. Stoicism teaches us that every small action can make a difference, and that is how we can live a meaningful life filled with contribution and integrity. Face everyday challenges and contribute every day. One way to practice the spirit of contribution every day is to start small. You can start each day by setting a simple but meaningful goal, such as helping someone at work, sharing a good deed with a loved one, or simply doing something useful for the community. These small actions have great power in creating a better world. We don't have to wait for a big opportunity or a special event to contribute. Every day is an opportunity to live with purpose, to create value, and to contribute to the development of society. Stoicism teaches us that every small action can make a difference, and that is how we can live a meaningful life filled with contribution and integrity. The power of consistency, building the foundation of your life. Consistency is one of the most important elements of Stoic practice. While many of us focus on achieving big goals or making grand changes in our lives, Stoicism teaches that real transformation happens through small, consistent actions. Every day is an opportunity to practice discipline, resilience, and wisdom. One of the key principles of Stoicism is the idea that virtue is cultivated through daily practice. To become virtuous, to become wise, and to live a life that is true to Stoic values, we must commit to doing the right thing consistently, no matter how small or insignificant the action might seem. Stoicism encourages us to cultivate good habits, as it is in the small actions of each day that the foundation for our future is built. For example, waking up at the same time every day may seem like a minor habit, but it sets the tone for the rest of your day. It signals to your mind and body that you are in control, that you are beginning the day with intention. Over time, such small acts of consistency compound, and the person you are today will be very different from the person you were yesterday. As Marcus Aurelius said, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Consistent positive actions shape the mind and the character over time. Personal growth through Stoic practices. Personal growth is not something that happens overnight, it's a slow and gradual process. Stoicism teaches us to look at personal growth not as an external achievement but as an internal transformation. The way we respond to challenges, the way we control our emotions, and the way we act with integrity in every situation. To grow, we must first become aware of our weaknesses and accept them, and then work on them, day by day, using the Stoic practices of reflection, journaling, and meditation. Every Stoic practice, whether it's focusing on what we can control, reflecting on our mortality, or cultivating gratitude, is designed to help us grow as individuals. Reflection is an especially important tool for growth. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, repeatedly asks himself questions and writes down his thoughts, helping him stay grounded in his philosophy. Reflecting on our actions, our choices, and our thoughts allows us to become more aware of where we are lacking, and where we need to improve. Incorporating journaling as a daily habit is a powerful way to track personal growth. By writing down our reflections and progress, we are not just keeping a log of events, but actively engaging in a process of self-awareness and self-improvement. It helps us understand where our thoughts go astray, and where we need to refocus. Creating meaningful habits. The path to a purposeful life. Stoicism teaches that the path to a meaningful life is paved with habits that align with virtue and purpose. It's not just about setting big goals but about creating the right daily habits that reflect those goals and values. Living with intention means consciously choosing how we spend our time, how we respond to challenges, and how we engage with others. The Stoics believed that the mind is the source of all actions, and so they placed great emphasis on how we set our intentions. To live a virtuous life, we must first determine what virtues we want to embody, whether it's courage, wisdom, justice, or temperance, and then create habits that reflect those virtues. Each action we take is an opportunity to align ourselves with these virtues. One of the key Stoic habits is morning reflection, starting each day with a few moments of reflection, where we consider the things we are grateful for and remind ourselves of our values and goals. Helps us begin the day with clarity and focus. Stoics also recommend starting the day by reviewing what lies ahead and mentally preparing ourselves for challenges. This isn't about predicting every obstacle but rather setting our intention to face whatever comes our way with resilience and integrity. Another important habit is daily journaling. As mentioned earlier, journaling is an excellent way to reflect on our actions and thoughts. It allows us to review our behavior and refine our mindset. By writing regularly, we strengthen our ability to see our own flaws and make adjustments to our approach, gradually transforming our character. Perseverance and self-compassion. The dual forces of Stoicism. While consistency and personal growth are important, it's also crucial to recognize that perseverance and self-compassion are vital for long-term success. In a world where instant gratification is often the norm, Stoicism teaches us that meaningful progress comes through persistence. Building the life we want takes time, and there will be many setbacks along the way. Perseverance is about staying the course, even when things get tough. It's about continuing to do what is right, even if the results don't come immediately. Stoicism teaches us that we can't control the outcomes of our efforts, but we can control our attitude and the effort we put in. By focusing on the effort, we build resilience and inner strength that will serve us well in all aspects of life. At the same time, Stoicism encourages self-compassion. Personal growth is not about striving for perfection or being overly hard on ourselves when we fail. In fact, Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius often reminded themselves to be gentle with their own mistakes. It's essential to recognize that we are human, and we will stumble. Instead of beating ourselves up over missteps, Stoicism teaches us to learn from them, accept them, and then move forward. If you make a mistake, don't see it as a reason to quit. Instead, recognize it as an opportunity to practice patience and forgiveness with yourself. Every day is a new chance to try again, to make progress, and to move closer to the person you want to become. The role of accountability, supporting your Stoic journey. An important aspect of personal growth is accountability. Stoicism teaches that we do not need to walk the path of virtue alone. Having someone to share our journey with can be incredibly powerful in helping us stay on track and stay true to our values. Accountability partners can offer us the support and perspective we need when things get difficult, and they can celebrate our successes with us. An accountability partner can help you stay committed to your goals, especially when it comes to your daily habits. Whether it's waking up early, practicing meditation, or writing in your journal, having someone to check in with can provide you with the encouragement and motivation you need to keep going. However, it's important to choose an accountability partner who shares similar values and goals. This relationship should be based on mutual respect, honesty, and support. It's not about punishing each other for mistakes, but about helping each other grow in a healthy, positive way. As we conclude this series on Stoicism, it's clear that Stoic philosophy offers us a wealth of wisdom and practical tools for living a more intentional, resilient, and fulfilling life. The practices of consistency, personal growth, and creating meaningful habits are at the heart of Stoicism, and they can transform the way we approach daily life. By applying Stoic principles to our daily routines, we can gradually reshape our thoughts, Actions and character. Stoicism teaches us that we are the architects of our own happiness and that with small, consistent actions, we can create a life of purpose and meaning. Thank you for following along in this exploration of Stoic philosophy. I hope that these lessons will serve as a guide on your own journey toward personal growth, resilience, and a life full of virtue. Remember, the Stoic way is about progress, not perfection. Keep moving forward, stay true to your values, and embrace every opportunity to grow.